Pues bienvenidos a todos. Welcome. Welcome to everybody tonight. It's great to have you here on this special evening with Francisco de Roux from Colombia of the Society of Jesus. I think he's been with us for several days now, and it's been quite inspirational to all of us, and has led us into deep, thoughtful reflection and deep motivation. So I think you'll look forward to tonight. It's quite powerful. Tonight's talk is the last in the spring series of Catholicism in the Modern World. And even though this is the last of this series, you can pick up the series coming up for the fall, so be sure and get it on your calendar. So that's coming up, and so please get us on your calendar. I have to say, in so many ways, Francisco de Roux truly exemplifies what not only this series is about, but what also the Institute on the Common Good is all about. From Pope Paul VI, we define the common good as the sum of those conditions of social life which allows groups and their individual members thorough and ready access to their own fulfillment. The work that Francisco de Roux does is founded on this and the best of Catholic and Ignatian social teaching. From the depth of his faith, he and his colleagues have worked together to build the common good, to promote human dignity, and to build the economic and spiritual foundation for a fulfilled life for the people of Colombia. In 1994, de Roux launched an ambitious project to promote the economic and social development of the Magdalena Medio region in Colombia. The organization, El Programa por la Paz y el Desarrollo de Magdalena Medio, has promoted many successful initiatives in sustainable economic development, in powerful micro-lending projects, in negotiated release of hostages, in improved education, and we found out and engaged in quite politically active youth. With de Roux, the Institute believes that the only way in which we can resolve complex issues that confront us is by engaging all the people, inviting everyone to the table, whether it be campesino, whether it be the faith community, the guerrillero movements, the paramilitaries, the government, and industry. The only way to achieve peace and sustainable development is by bringing everyone to the table. And I have to say, after talking with Francisco, it makes our work with the Institute much easier. Something about dealing with the environmentalists and uranium companies and educators. It makes me go back to our work and realize how easy we have it, because his work is quite difficult with many more complex problems and many more factions. But by meeting with these different parties through dialogue, through negotiation, shared work, and astute engagement, the communities of Magdalena Medio have created a common vision upon which to build. They're truly pockets of peace in an area of violence and deep poverty. So for his work, Francisco has been awarded the National Peace Prize of the Colombian Press and the Human Rights Award from the Lawyers Committee for Human Rights. Now, I have to say, when I walked into here tonight, this is the first time that I've actually introduced somebody with the altar bolted down as we've had it today. And there was quite a shock when I came in and felt that, because 8 years ago, we took a group of nonprofit students to El Salvador. And I stood behind an altar just like that, very similar, and talking about when Oscar Romero was assassinated, and he was lifting up the host, and his arms were like that, and the shock and the power that came through me, and the realization of what happens when people are working in the way that Francisco works. The truth of it is, it comes with a great cost. And you'll find out, and in the work that he's done in the 12 years that the program has been there, 30 people working for the program have been killed, doing the work of sustainable development, doing the work that Francisco is called to do. So this work comes with great cost. And Francisco himself has been in many straits with his life threatened. So it comes to us with deep experience. And perseverance through this type of adversity can really only come through a solid foundation of faith. And one sees this in Francisco. You'll hear it tonight, this deep connection to spirit that has manifested itself in transformational works that fulfill the words of the gospel and make the kingdom of God a present reality on earth. This is what Francisco does, and we're so pleased to have him with us tonight. So Francisco, welcome.
Good night to everybody. Thank you, Paul, for your brilliant and generous presentation. I invite you just for a minute, we're going to stay in silence and to connect ourselves with the deep dimension of ourselves in order to, as believers, we are to feel our spiritual energy together. So go on. Okay. I have to read the document because unfortunately my English is not good enough in order to talk in a simplest way I really wanted to do. But I have some points I would like to share with you. The humanitarian crisis in Colombia, dignity and the significance of dignity, because this is the central point in our spirituality. Dialogue, and the way we are trying to develop dialogue with the guerrillas, the paramilitaries, the military and the government, and also with the entrepreneurs there. And human integral development. So these are basically the points I am going to present to you. Thank you, Paul Alexander and T.G. Bowen and all the friends of the Institute of the Common Good and the Program of Peace and Justice Studies. It is because of you that I left the people, the humid valley, and the mountains of the Magdalena River to be here. And my gratitude to the priests and lay people of Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo, because you served for a total of 20 years in Monteria. As you know, Colombia is a country located in the northern corner of South America, with coast on the Pacific and the Caribbean Ocean. Colombia has a population of about 45 million inhabitants. For more than 40 years, Colombia has gone through a deep humanitarian crisis, a long-term man-made humanitarian disaster. Armed guerrillas, paramilitary groups, and the government military forces are being involved in an unjust and extremely violent internal war. The Colombian guerrillas, with more than 20,000 militants, are today armed groups that violate human rights, recruit minors for its ranks, abuse women, and are financed by drug trafficking. The paramilitaries, many of them drug lords with a strong connection with important politicians, have produced terrible massacres and are now in a difficult process of demobilization because a significant number of them stay